god of hellfire, and I bring you fire.
Hello and welcome to Drunk on Tea. Today I'm going to show you quick and easy methods for painting fire effects which are ideal for your models not only of Middle-earth strategy battle game but also for Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar. The first thing I've done is I've painted this hill tribesman completely, but I've left the fire as the black that I originally primed the model with. Now the first thing I'm going to do is come in with some white scar and paint all of the areas that I'm going to want to be flame. This is going to brighten up those areas and help give us that glowing effect from a fire. So I'm just going to carefully come through, pick out all of the sculpted fire details here with some white scar. Now I'm not going to be doing object source lighting today. If you would like another video on OSL and how to get that effect across the rest of your model, please let me know in the comments down below and I'll happily make an OSL video. But for now I'm just going to show you how to get a great looking flame effect without lighting up the rest of the model. So I'm being really careful here that I just get the white scar over the areas that I'm going to want to be flame later. I'm just going to make sure I coat all of this with a couple of layers of white scar till I get a solid coat all over the flames. It's going to brighten up all the colours we lay over it and help give us that really nice fire effect on this flaming brand. And after a couple of layers of white scar, I've got that solid white coat all over the fire. You can see how it's lapping around the top of the brand here. This is a great base coat for the rest of the colours. So next, with some Avalanche Sunset, I'm going to come in and carefully place this over the fire, but I'm going to make sure I leave just a little bit of white at the very base of the flames, because the white will be the hottest part of the fire. So I'm going to come in and paint the rest of the fire. So depending on the way that the fire is sculpted on your model, you'll be leaving different parts of white showing. For this one, just the edge of the brand will be the hottest part, as it's where the fire is starting. I'm just leaving tiny bits of white, painting the rest of the fire with a couple of layers of Avalanche Sunset. That white scar base coat is going to really brighten up this yellow and give us a great fire effect once it's completed. And after a couple of layers, I've got that solid coat of Avalanche Sunset, and you can see the little bits of white showing at the very edges of the fire, just where it would be the hottest. So now I'm coming in with some Troll Slayer Orange, and I'm going to place this once again over the fire, but leaving little bits of the yellow showing through. So each of the colours we'll be applying here, you're going to leave a little bit of the previous layers showing. For the orange here, I'm also leaving bits of yellow in other areas as well. So I'm sort of imagining that as the fire gets towards the tips and the more raised sculpted details, it's cooling off. So I'm going to go through all of my colours, leaving little bits showing of all of the previous colours as the fire gets from its hottest to its coldest. So in some of these deeper recesses of the flames, I'm leaving bits of Avalanche Sunset showing through. I'm slowly layering this over till I get transitions from the yellow to the orange. So make sure you keep the paint nice and thin, but keep control of it and only apply this where you want the colour transitions to be. So you can see how in lots of those deepest grooves, I'm leaving the yellow showing. As I'm working towards the edges, I'm applying the Troll Slayer Orange to give the impression of the fire cooling off as it moves further away from the heat source. Take your time at this stage and just apply a few layers of Troll Slayer Orange over the areas that we want to be our transitional colours till you get an effect you're happy with. And after a few layers of Troll Slayer Orange, you can see that yellow showing in all of the recesses. And where I've used thin paint, we're getting some nice transitions through the colours. If you're enjoying the video, please press like. If you want more videos, press the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. If you would like to support the channel and become a member, please press the join button down below. So next up was some Wild Rider Red, doing much the same as with the Troll Slayer Orange, but working further up the flame again, leaving that Troll Slayer Orange showing in some of the deeper areas. So I'm really picking sort of some of the higher points and nearer the very tips of the flames to apply the Wild Rider Red. So this is giving us that really nice transition from the yellow to the orange through to the reds. So once again, take your time at this stage, use thin layers of Wild Rider Red and apply it sort of in the middle of all the areas you just applied the Troll Slayer Orange, making sure you leave some of the orange showing through, but as we work towards the tips, highest points, and all of the further away areas from the heat source, make sure you apply a few layers of Wild Rider Red. After a few layers of thinned Wild Rider Red, you can see how we are getting that transition through the colours now. It's really starting to give a flamey effect. So now I'm coming with some Evil Sun Scarlet, and I'm going to do much the same thing again, but once again applying smaller areas, focusing it to the points furthest away from the heat sources, so the areas of the flame that would be colder. So you're not going to be applying too much of the Evil Sun Scarlet, but just make sure you apply some at the furthest points, tips of the flames, tops of any of the highest ridges and areas like that. This works really well with all the previous colours and gives us that really nice transition through our colours, giving us a great looking flame effect on our models. So once again, always keep this nice and thin. It's better to work in a few thin layers than come in too stark and have solid borders. And after a few layers, we've really upped that transition, up the reds and the contrast to the model, and that flame's really starting to come together. And there's just one final red to apply to this flame, and that's with some Mephiston Red. You're just going to really focus this onto the furthest tips of the flames and a few of the highest points, just to give that impression of cooling heat at the very ends of the flames. So you don't want to apply a lot of this, working very thin layers, and just apply little bits of Mephiston Red at the very highest points and tips of the flames to finish off that transition from yellow to red. Mephiston Red applied. That's all of the colours applied to the flame, but there's one final thing I'm going to do just to tie everything together. This is an optional step, and that's with some Corvus Black. I'm going to very gently dry brush over the flames. This will give a little bit of a smoky effect to the fire, as well as give the impression of soot and things, but just be very light with this. You don't want to make your flame too dark. Just want to have a very, very dry brush and just gently flick over so you just catch some of the highest points, ties everything together, and finishes off the flames. And with that dry brush applied, that is how to quickly and easily paint a flame effect onto your models. Please let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see me push this up to a object source lighting, or if there's any other effects that you would like to see me paint. So thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Try these effects out on all of your miniatures across all of the model ranges, where if you've got some fire. And as always, an extra special thank you to Jenkins, our Tea Lover channel member. Thank you so much for the support, and happy painting!